In the vast, sun-drenched heart of East Africa, where the horizon stretches endlessly and the golden grasses sway beneath a boundless sky, one of the planet's most magnificent natural spectacles unfolds with every passing season. It is a drama of life and death, of instinct and survival, played out on an epic scale, an ancient ritual that has shaped the destiny of countless generations. This is the Great Migration, a relentless circular pilgrimage of nearly 2 million animals, primarily wildebeest, but also vast numbers of zebra and gazelle, sweeping across the Serengeti Mara ecosystem in a ceaseless quest for sustenance. It is not a single event, but a continuous, pulsing movement of life, a living river of mammals flowing across 30,000 square kilometers of untamed wilderness, their bodies weaving intricate patterns across the land. This incredible procession is driven by the most fundamental of needs, the search for fresh grazing and life-giving water. The ancient rhythm of Africa's seasonal rains dictates their journey as the herds follow the promise of renewal across the ever-changing landscape. Each year, the arrival of the rains transforms the plains, painting the earth with a vibrant green and awakening a surge of life. The herds sense the distant thunder, the scent of rain on the wind, and begin their journey anew, driven by an instinct as old as the land itself. The sheer scale of this movement is almost impossible to comprehend. From the air, the herds appear as a living tapestry, a dark, undulating mass that stretches to the horizon, shifting and flowing with a purpose that defies imagination. Imagine a column of animals so vast that it can stretch for dozens of kilometers, a thunderous tide of hooves and horns that makes the very ground tremble, sending up clouds of dust that shimmer in the morning light. This is not a journey with a clear beginning or end, but rather an endless loop, a cycle of renewal and hardship, of birth and death that has been followed for countless generations. The migration is a living testament to the resilience and adaptability of life. The animals are not led by a single leader. Instead, they are guided by a collective primal wisdom, an innate understanding of the landscape, the weather, and the subtle cues that signal when and where to move. They follow the scent of distant rain and the promise of green pasture, an instinct so powerful it compels them to face unimaginable dangers along their 1,900-kilometer trek, crossing rivers, braving predators, and enduring the harshest elements. This grand procession is far more than just a remarkable sight. It is the very heartbeat of the Serengeti and the Maasai Mara, a force that shapes the land and the lives of all who dwell within it. The migration is a keystone process, an engine of ecological change that sustains the entire ecosystem. As the herds move, they graze and fertilize the land, their passage sparking new growth and supporting a dazzling diversity of life. The constant movement of these vast herds shapes the landscape, fertilizes the soil, and provides sustenance for a staggering array of predators and scavengers. Every step, every mouthful of grass, every fallen animal is woven into the fabric of the ecosystem. It is a complex, interconnected web where every creature, from the smallest insect feeding on dung to the mightiest lion resting in the shade, plays a crucial role in the ongoing story of survival. To witness the Great Migration is to witness nature in its most dynamic and untamed state, a powerful reminder of the intricate and delicate balances that govern life on our planet, where every moment is a struggle and every victory is hard-won. The importance of this journey extends beyond the borders of the national parks. As the herds traverse open plains, woodlands and rivers, shaping the land wherever they roam, each animal, from the youngest calf to the most seasoned adult, faces a gauntlet of challenges: swift rivers, lurking predators, and the ever-present uncertainty of the wild. Their journey is a testament to the endurance and determination of life itself. As we watch these animals navigate their perilous world, we are reminded of the profound struggles for survival that all living things face, and the extraordinary lengths to which they will go to ensure the continuation of their kind. The story of the Great Migration is not just about animals. It is a story about the resilience of life itself, about the enduring power of instinct, and about the timeless dance between the hunter and the hunted, the living and the land that sustains them, a story written anew with every sunrise over the endless plains. At the very core of this breathtaking migration is the blue wildebeest, a creature whose life is defined by movement and survival. These animals are not just participants. They are the driving force, the heartbeat of the migration, and the architects of one of nature's greatest spectacles. An astonishing 1.5 million blue wildebeest surge across the plains, their numbers forming a living, moving tapestry that stretches to the horizon. Each individual is a vital thread in this immense fabric, their collective presence shaping the very landscape they traverse. With their shaggy manes, sturdy frames, and distinctive curved horns, wildebeest may seem awkward at first glance, yet every aspect of their anatomy is honed for endurance. Their long, muscular legs propel them over vast distances, while their acute senses keep them alert to danger at every turn. Wildebeest are creatures of remarkable stamina and resilience. Driven by an ancient, unyielding instinct, they press forward through dust storms, across rivers teeming with danger, and over sun-baked earth, never pausing for long. Their journey is a test of both body and spirit. The rains are their compass. As the first drops fall, the wildebeest sense the promise of new life. They follow the storm clouds, seeking out the tender, nutrient-rich grasses that spring up in the aftermath. These fresh shoots are their fuel, providing the energy needed for the relentless trek ahead. Safety lies in numbers. The immense herds move as one, a living shield against the ever-present threat of predators. The chaos and confusion of so many bodies in motion can overwhelm even the most skilled hunters, giving the wildebeest a fighting chance to survive and continue their journey. Alongside the wildebeest march over 250,000 plains zebra, their black and white stripes a striking contrast against the sea of brown. This partnership is ancient and profound, a testament to the interconnectedness of life on the savannah. The zebra are the trailblazers, often taking the lead as the herds move into new territory. Their keen eyesight and vigilance help detect danger, and their boldness paves the way for the more cautious wildebeest. Unlike the wildebeest, zebra are equipped to handle the taller, coarser grasses that dominate the plains. Their digestive systems are marvels of adaptation, allowing them to extract nourishment from vegetation that others leave behind. As the zebra graze, they trim the grasslands, exposing the tender shoots beneath. This act of grazing is not just a meal, it is a service to the ecosystem, preparing the way for the wildebeest, who follow eagerly to feast on the newly revealed greenery. This symbiotic relationship is a masterpiece of natural cooperation. By working together, both species maximize their chances of survival, each benefiting from the other's unique strengths. The zebra's iconic stripes, once thought to be mere camouflage, serve a deeper purpose. The shifting patterns create a visual illusion that confuses predators and may even deter biting flies, offering protection in a world where every advantage counts. Trailing in the wake of the great herds are the smaller, more delicate antelopes, creatures of grace and agility, ever watchful and alert. Hundreds of thousands of Thompson's and Grant's gazelles join the procession. These nimble herbivores are specialists, seeking out the herbs and forbs left behind by the larger grazers, their delicate muzzles perfect for picking the choicest morsels. Gazelles are the opportunists of the migration, darting swiftly from patch to patch, always alert for danger. Their speed and agility are their greatest defenses, allowing them to evade the predators that stalk the herds. Yet their vulnerability is ever present. The gazelle's presence adds a layer of complexity to the migration, as they must constantly balance the need to feed with the need to flee. Their lives a delicate dance between opportunity and risk. Each species, wildebeest, zebra, gazelle, occupies a unique niche within this moving community. Their interactions form a living mosaic, a multi-layered society where every animal plays a role in the survival of the whole. But the journey is unforgiving. For many, exhaustion and hardship take their toll. The relentless pace, the constant threat of predators, and the challenges of the landscape claim countless lives. Each year, nearly 250,000 wildebeest, around 250,000, will not complete the journey. Their struggle is a stark reminder of the harsh realities of life on the plains. Many fall to exhaustion, thirst, or the perilous river crossings, where swift currents and waiting jaws claim the unwary. Others are taken by the predators that shadow the herds, ever watchful for the weak and the young. Yet, even in death, the wildebeest play a vital role. Their bodies become a source of sustenance for a host of other creatures, from the mighty lion to the smallest insect, ensuring that nothing is wasted. Lions, hyenas, leopards, crocodiles, and scavengers of every kind gather to feed, their survival intertwined with the fate of the herds. The fallen sustain the predators, who in turn keep the balance of life in check. As the cycle continues, the nutrients from the fallen are returned to the earth, nourishing the grasses that will feed the next generation. In this way, the cast of 1 million animals sustains not only themselves but the entire ecosystem, weaving a story of life, death, and renewal that echoes across the Serengeti and Maasai Mara. The story of the wildebeest herd is written across the vast, ever-changing canvas of the Serengeti and Maasai Mara. Each year, the cycle begins in the southern Serengeti and the Ndutu Plains, where the horizon stretches endlessly over short grass plains shimmering in the early morning light. Here, the air is crisp, and the land is alive with anticipation. From December to March, these plains transform into a nursery as thousands of wildebeest mothers gather to give birth. The herds cluster together, forming protective circles around their newborns, while the calves, still unsteady on their legs, take their first tentative steps into a world filled with both promise and peril. The land itself is a gift to the herd. Ancient volcanic ash, scattered by eruptions long past, has enriched the soil, nurturing grasses that are lush and vibrant. These grasses are rich in calcium and phosphorus, vital for the nursing mothers and the rapid growth of their calves. The herds graze from dawn until dusk, their movements synchronized with the rhythm of the sun and the gentle sweep of the wind. In a breathtaking display of nature's timing, the wildebeest calving is synchronized. Over a few short weeks in February, the plains are dotted with newborns, their numbers swelling as if the earth itself is giving birth. In this brief window, nearly 500,000 calves are born. The air is filled with their bleats, and the ground trembles beneath the weight of new life. The mothers are ever watchful, their instincts sharpened by the vulnerability of their young. This mass birthing is a calculated survival strategy, predator satiation. With so many calves born at once, predators are overwhelmed, unable to consume more than a fraction of the vulnerable young. For each calf that falls, many more survive, tipping the balance in favor of the herd. As the weeks pass, the rains that once nourished the plains begin to fade. By April and May, the grasslands dry, their emerald hues replaced by gold and brown. The air grows heavy and water becomes scarce. The herds sense the change, their movements growing restless. This is the signal for the great migration to begin. Driven by instinct and the promise of greener pastures, the wildebeest gather in vast columns, their hooves drumming a steady beat across the parched earth as they move northward. The herds funnel into the western corridor, a narrow strip of land defined by the winding Grumeti River. Here the landscape shifts. Open plains give way to dense woodlands and tangled riverine forests. The journey becomes perilous. The woodlands conceal lurking dangers, and the riverine forests are thick with shadows. Every step is a test of vigilance, as predators wait in ambush and the terrain itself becomes a challenge. The herds move cautiously, their pace dictated by the availability of grazing and the ever-present threat of attack. The older, experienced wildebeest lead, their memories guiding the way through familiar dangers. In this corridor, the weak and the young are tested. Some calves, still growing, struggle to keep pace. The herd presses on, for survival depends on movement and unity. By July, the migration reaches its crescendo. The herds swell to their greatest numbers, a living river of wildebeest flowing across the savannah, their bodies moving as one. The journey carries them north across the border into the Maasai Mara. Here the land is transformed by recent rains, the grasslands lush and inviting. The Mara is a sanctuary, its pastures thick and green, offering a brief respite from the hardships of the journey. The herds spread out, grazing and regaining their strength, while calves grow stronger under the watchful eyes of their mothers. Yet before they can fully enjoy this bounty, the herds must confront the Mara River, a formidable barrier swollen by seasonal rains and teeming with hidden dangers beneath its surface. The river crossing is a moment of chaos and courage. Wildebeest leap from the banks, driven by the pressure of the herd behind them and the promise of green grass ahead. The water churns with panic, and only the strongest and luckiest make it to the far side. For months, from July through October, the herds linger in the Mara, gathering at the riverbanks in ever-growing numbers. The tension builds until at last the urge to cross becomes irresistible. In the Mara, life is abundant, but the cost is high. Some bear the scars of the journey, while others succumb to exhaustion or injury. Yet for most, this is a season of plenty, a reward for their endurance. As the year turns, the first signs of rain appear once more in the southern Serengeti. Clouds gather on the horizon, and the scent of distant storms drifts on the wind. A deep, ancient instinct stirs within the herds. They lift their heads, sniffing the air, sensing the call to return home. The promise of new grass and the memory of calving grounds beckon them southward. The herds turn, beginning the long march back across the depleted grasslands of the Mara, retracing their steps toward the rejuvenated plains of the Serengeti. They travel along the eastern edge of the Serengeti, the landscape slowly transforming as the rains return and the grasslands revive. The journey is arduous, but the reward is great. At last the herds arrive at the calving grounds, where the plains are once again lush and green, ready to cradle the next generation. And so the circle is complete. The wildebeest migration is a living testament to the power of instinct, the resilience of life, and the eternal rhythms of the African wilderness, a story written anew with every passing year. The crossing of the Mara River is the most perilous and dramatic chapter in the entire migratory saga. It is a spectacle of organized chaos, a life-or-death gamble that every animal must take to reach the rich grazing lands on the other side. The herds gather on the high banks, their numbers swelling over days, a sea of anxious bodies. The air crackles with tension, the low grunts of the wildebeest mingling with the nervous whinnies of the zebra. The pressure builds a collective unease until one brave or perhaps foolish individual takes the plunge. This single act of courage triggers a stampede, and suddenly thousands upon thousands of animals are pouring down the steep banks and into the churning brown water. The river itself is a formidable adversary. Its currents are strong and unpredictable, capable of sweeping away even the strongest swimmers. The steep, muddy banks on the far side present a seemingly insurmountable wall, causing panic and confusion as the animals struggle to find a foothold and haul themselves out. In the chaos, calves can be separated from their mothers, and many animals are simply trampled under the immense weight of the herd. It is a scene of pure primal struggle, where sheer instinct and a desperate will to live are the only things that matter. For those that make it, the lush grasses of the Maasai Mara await, but the river claims a heavy toll. Lurking beneath the surface are the river's ancient guardians, the Nile crocodiles. These reptilian giants, some reaching over 5 meters in length, have waited patiently for this annual feast. As the herds plunge into the water, the crocodiles launch into action. With a bite force powerful enough to crush bone, they are devastatingly effective predators. They employ a terrifying technique known as the death roll, grabbing hold of a struggling animal and spinning violently to dismember it. While they cannot possibly consume every animal that crosses, their presence adds a terrifying dimension to an already hazardous ordeal, turning the river into a churning cauldron of survival and death. Each year it is estimated that over 6,000 wildebeest perish during the river crossings. Their bodies, along with those lost to trampling and exhaustion, do not go to waste. They become a massive injection of nutrients into the aquatic ecosystem. The carcasses provide a feast for fish, birds like the marabou stork, and of course the crocodiles. Scientific studies have shown that this annual event dramatically increases the levels of phosphorus, carbon, and nitrogen in the river, enriching the entire food web for months to come. The crossing is thus not only a trial of survival for the herds, but also a vital, life-giving event for the river itself. Wildebeest have developed strategies to increase their chances of survival. They form tight groups to reduce individual exposure and use their horns to fend off predators. Zebras often lead the way, their strong swimming abilities and keen senses providing a semblance of guidance for the wildebeest. Some animals use rocks and other natural features to gain a foothold and climb out of the river more easily. In moments of desperation, they even help each other, pushing and pulling to ensure as many as possible make it to the other side. Once across, the survivors rest and recuperate, their bodies exhausted but their spirits unbroken. The reward for their perilous journey is the lush green grass of the Maasai Mara, a testament to their resilience and determination. The Great Migration is, well, a moving feast, and following in its wake is one of Africa's most impressive assemblages of predators. The undisputed king of this domain is the lion. Prides across the Serengeti and Maasai Mara have their territories and lives shaped by the passing of the herds. While resident game provides sustenance year-round, the arrival of the migration is a time of plenty. The lionesses, the primary hunters of the pride, use incredible teamwork and strategy. They fan out using the cover of darkness or tall grass to orchestrate sophisticated ambushes, and their success rate increases dramatically when they hunt together. For the lions, the migration is a crucial period for fattening up and ensuring the survival of their cubs. Equally formidable, though often misunderstood, is the spotted hyena. Far from being mere scavengers, hyenas are incredibly successful hunters, responsible for up to 95% of their own kills. They are endurance predators, capable of pursuing their prey over several kilometers until it collapses from exhaustion. Hyena clans are complex matriarchal societies ruled by dominant females who are larger and more aggressive than the males. Their powerful jaws, with a bite force that can shatter bone, allow them to consume almost every part of a carcass, leaving little for anyone else. During the migration, their distinctive whooping calls echo across the plains as they patrol the edges of the herds, testing for any sign of weakness. Lurking in the shadows is the most elusive of the great cats, the leopard. A master of stealth and camouflage, the leopard is a solitary ambush hunter. It relies on getting incredibly close to its prey before launching a surprise attack with explosive power. Leopards are famously strong, often hoisting their kills, which can be heavier than they are, high into the branches of trees. This protects their hard-won meal from the attention of lions and hyenas. While the vast open plains are not their preferred habitat, they thrive in the riverine forests and rocky outcrops or kopjes that dot the Serengeti, preying on stragglers from the great herds who wander too close. The cheetah, the fastest land animal on Earth, also plays its part. Built for speed rather than power, the cheetah uses its incredible acceleration to hunt during the day, avoiding competition with nocturnal predators like lions and leopards. They can reach speeds of up to 120 kilometers per hour in short, breathtaking bursts. However, their hunts are energetically costly and they are often bullied off their kills by larger, more powerful carnivores. Alongside these famous hunters are the African wild dogs, whose cooperative pack hunting techniques make them the most successful predators on the continent, a blur of painted coats working in perfect deadly harmony. Their coordinated efforts allow them to take down prey much larger than themselves, ensuring the survival of the pack. After a successful hunt, they regurgitate food for their pups and other members of the pack, showcasing their remarkable social structure and care for one another. Even in rest, their bond is evident, with some keeping watch while others sleep, always ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. The African wild dogs are constantly on the move, covering vast distances in search of prey, their endurance and teamwork making them formidable hunters in the African wilderness. In the boundless, ever-shifting tapestry of the Serengeti and Maasai Mara, survival is a story written not by the lone hero, but by the power of alliances and the genius of adaptation. Here, every creature's fate is woven into the lives of others, and the most enduring success comes from collaboration and evolutionary ingenuity. The partnership between wildebeest and zebra is a masterclass in symbiosis. Though they might seem like competitors, these two species have evolved to complement each other, forming a living alliance that shapes the very landscape they traverse. Zebras, with their powerful jaws and specialized digestive systems, are able to tackle the toughest, most fibrous grasses, those that other grazers leave behind. As they move at the front of the migration, they trim the tall, coarse stems, opening up the plains for those who follow. In their wake, wildebeest take advantage of the freshly exposed, nutrient-rich shoots. Their narrower muzzles and more selective grazing habits allow them to feast on the tender, leafy lower portions, maximizing the nutritional yield from the same patch of land. This division of labor transforms potential rivalry into a grand-scale partnership. By sharing the bounty of the plains, both species thrive in numbers that would be impossible if they competed directly for the same food. For the wildebeest, adaptation is a matter of life and death from the very first breath. Calves are born into a world where danger is ever present, and only the most remarkable evolutionary traits ensure their survival. Within minutes of birth, a wildebeest calf is compelled by instinct to rise. Its muscles, still trembling with newness, are already primed for action, a testament to generations of natural selection favoring the swift and the strong. In less than a quarter of an hour, the calf is not only standing but running, seamlessly joining the relentless march of the herd. This precocious mobility is a vital adaptation, for the herd cannot wait, and predators are never far behind. The calf's first coat, a soft tan, is nature's camouflage, blending perfectly with the sun-bleached grasses of the calving grounds. This subtle disguise offers precious moments of invisibility from prowling hunters. Such rapid development and camouflage are not luxuries, but necessities. Any calf that lags behind or stands out is quickly singled out by the ever-watchful eyes of predators. Yet, survival is not just about speed or stealth. It is also about the safety found in numbers and the collective vigilance of the herd. In these immense gatherings, thousands of eyes, ears and noses are attuned to the faintest hint of danger. Each individual becomes a sentinel, contributing to a living network of awareness. A single flick of a zebra's ear, or the sudden tension in a gazelle's stance, can send a ripple of alarm through the entire assembly, triggering a wave of readiness that can mean the difference between life and death. This shared vigilance is a living security system, where the alertness of one becomes the shield of many. When danger strikes, the sheer mass of the herd becomes a weapon. The confusion of thousands of bodies in motion, the dust and the blur of stripes make it nearly impossible for a predator to isolate a single victim. For the zebra, their iconic stripes are more than decoration. They are an evolutionary marvel. In the chaos of a stampede, the stripes merge and flicker, creating a dazzling effect that confuses the predator's eye, a phenomenon known as dazzle camouflage. Even the hunters are bound by the rules of alliance. Lions, the apex predators of these plains, rely on intricate social bonds within their prides. Through coordinated teamwork, they orchestrate complex hunts using strategy and communication to encircle and overpower prey far larger than any one lion could manage alone. African wild dogs take cooperation to another level. Their hunts are choreographed with precision, each member playing a role in a relay of pursuit. After the chase, the spoils are shared with the entire pack, from the youngest pups to the oldest elders, a rare display of social care in the wild. Hyenas, too, are masters of social structure. Their clans are ruled by strict hierarchies, and their collective strength allows them to defend territory, outwit rivals, and even steal from other predators. Across these wild lands, every animal, hunter and hunted alike, relies on the bonds of kin, the strength of the group, and the wisdom of adaptation. In this world, it is not the solitary, but the allied and the adaptable who endure. The Great Migration is not simply a procession of animals passing through a landscape. It is the primary force that creates and maintains the ecosystem itself. These millions of grazers are, in effect, colossal gardeners, meticulously tending to the vast savannas. Their constant grazing stimulates fresh grass growth, keeping the vegetation young, tender, and nutritious. This cycle of grazing and regrowth ensures that the grasslands remain a vibrant and sustainable habitat. This intense grazing pressure also plays a crucial role in preventing devastating wildfires. By consuming vast quantities of grass, the herds reduce the buildup of dry, flammable material that could otherwise fuel uncontrollable blazes during the dry season, thereby protecting the entire habitat. The herd's grazing habits also influence the types of plants that dominate the landscape. By selectively feeding on certain grasses, they allow other plant species to flourish, promoting biodiversity. The animals and the grasslands exist in a state of perfect dynamic balance. This balance is essential for the health of the ecosystem, as it ensures that no single species of plant or animal dominates, allowing a rich variety of life to thrive. The impact of the herds extends right down to the soil. As millions of animals move across the plains, their hooves break up and aerate the hard-packed earth. This action helps water from the seasonal rains to penetrate more deeply into the ground, promoting healthier and more robust root systems for the grasses. The aeration of the soil also facilitates the decomposition of organic matter, enriching the soil with nutrients. The improved soil structure allows for better water retention, which is crucial during the dry season. This ensures that the grasses can survive periods of drought, maintaining the food supply for the herbivores. Furthermore, the animals leave behind an immense amount of dung, a natural and highly effective fertilizer. Each day, the migrating herds deposit thousands of tons of nutrient-rich manure across the Serengeti and Maasai Mara, replenishing the soil with the essential nitrogen and minerals needed to sustain the very vegetation that they, in turn, depend on for their survival. This manure not only fertilizes the soil, but also supports a myriad of decomposers such as insects and fungi, which further break down the organic matter, releasing nutrients back into the ecosystem. This moving feast supports a whole other ecosystem of scavengers, the unsung heroes of the plains. From the sky, vultures circle, their incredible eyesight allowing them to spot a fresh kill from kilometers away. Different species, like the mighty lappet-faced vulture and the high-flying Ruppel's griffin, specialize in different parts of a carcass, ensuring nothing is wasted. On the ground, hyenas and jackals patrol, ready to clean up any remains left by the lions. Even the marabou stork, with its bald head adapted for plunging deep into a carcass, plays its part. This clean-up crew is essential for preventing the spread of diseases like anthrax and rabies, keeping the ecosystem healthy. Even in death, the migrants give back to the land. The bodies of the thousands of animals that perish during the river crossings provide a massive subsidy of marine-derived nutrients to the terrestrial environment. As scavengers drag carcass parts onto the riverbanks, they fertilize the surrounding soils, leading to lusher vegetation in these specific areas. This creates nutrient hotspots that benefit a wide range of other species. The Great Migration is therefore a powerful engine of nutrient cycling, connecting the land, the water, and all the creatures within it in a profound and interconnected web of life, death, and renewal. The migration shapes the land in ways that are both visible and invisible, creating a dynamic and ever-changing landscape that supports an incredible diversity of life. The interconnectedness of the migration and the land is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of nature, showcasing the intricate balance that sustains life in the wild. This delicate balance is a reminder of the importance of preserving these natural processes, ensuring that the Great Migration continues to shape the land for generations to come. The Great Migration is a living, breathing force of nature, a testament to the power of life to shape the world around it in a continuous cycle of growth, decay, and renewal. For all its timeless grandeur, the Great Migration faces an uncertain future. This incredible natural wonder is not immune to the relentless pressures of the modern world. The animals that journey across these plains are confronted by challenges that grow more formidable with each passing year. Perhaps the most insidious threat is climate change, a force that creeps silently across the landscape, altering the very fabric of life. In recent decades, rainfall patterns across East Africa have become more erratic and unpredictable. The once reliable rhythm of the seasons now falters, leaving herds to wander in search of water that may never come. Temperatures have risen and droughts have become more frequent and severe. The land cracks open under the relentless sun, and the great herds, wildebeest, zebra and gazelle, are forced to travel farther and riskier paths in their desperate search for sustenance. The Mara River, once a dependable lifeline, now runs shallow and uncertain. Thirsty animals gather at its shrinking banks, their survival hanging in the balance as the water recedes. This threatens the very foundation of the migration, which is entirely dependent on the reliable seasonal pulse of the rains to guide its path and grow its food. When the rains fail, the grass withers and the herds must push onward, often at great peril. The landscape itself is changing. Once continuous stretches of wilderness are now interrupted by obstacles that force animals to alter their ancient routes. As the open plains shrink, habitats become isolated. The great herds find themselves hemmed in, their freedom to roam curtailed by the slow but steady fragmentation of their world. Land that once served as vital dispersal areas is now overtaken by invasive species and encroaching brush, further reducing the space available for grazing and migration. Natural barriers, once rare, now proliferate, blocking ancient migratory corridors and fragmenting the landscape. The herds must navigate a maze of new challenges, each step fraught with uncertainty. As resources dwindle, competition intensifies. Wildebeest, zebra and gazelle jostle for access to the last remaining water and grass, and the struggle for survival grows ever more desperate. Predators, too, are affected. As prey animals weaken and their numbers fluctuate, lions, cheetahs and hyenas must adapt their hunting strategies, often targeting the most vulnerable members of the herds. The youngest and weakest are often left behind, unable to keep pace with the relentless march. The journey becomes a test of endurance, with only the fittest surviving to see the next season. Yet, even in the face of these mounting threats, the resilience of the wild endures. Some animals find sanctuary in hidden valleys and pockets of green where the land still offers shelter and food. Natural corridors, though fewer, remain vital. These pathways allow animals to move between the last strongholds of wilderness, maintaining the delicate balance of life across the ecosystem. These connections are essential for the genetic health and long-term survival of the herds. Each successful crossing, each new generation born, is a testament to the enduring spirit of the wild. In the rare places where the land remains unspoiled, the migration continues as it has for millennia, a breathtaking spectacle of life, movement, and renewal. Here the animals find a brief respite, a chance to recover and prepare for the challenges that lie ahead. The cycle of life persists, fragile yet unbroken. The survival of the migration depends on the vigilance and adaptability of every creature. Each member of the herd plays a role in sensing danger, finding food and guiding the way. As long as the wild endures, the Great Migration will continue to inspire awe, a living testament to the resilience of nature and a reminder of the delicate balance that sustains life on the African plains. The Great Migration is not merely a spectacle of movement, it is the heartbeat of the Serengeti Mara ecosystem, a living testament to the raw, untamed forces that shape the natural world. Each year over 1 million wildebeest, accompanied by hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles, embark on a journey dictated by ancient instincts and the relentless search for life-sustaining grass and water. This migration is a story of survival, adaptation, and the intricate web of life that binds every creature to the land and to each other. In a world where untouched wilderness is rapidly disappearing, the Serengeti Mara ecosystem stands as a rare sanctuary, a living relic of a time when vast herds roamed freely across continents. Here the migration is not just a journey, it is the engine that powers an entire landscape, shaping the very fabric of life across the plains. The migration is a window into a primordial world where survival depends on the ability to sense the subtle changes in the wind, the scent of rain on distant horizons, and the promise of new grass. It is a world governed by the pulse of the seasons, where every movement is a response to the rhythms of nature. To witness the endless columns of wildebeest surging across the plains is to witness the very essence of life's persistence. Each animal is driven by an instinct older than memory, compelled to move by the promise of survival and the threat of starvation. The migration is a living river flowing with hope, fear, and the unbreakable will to endure. The migration is a force that shapes the land itself. As the herds graze, they trim the grasses, stimulate new growth, and fertilize the soil, creating a mosaic of habitats that support an astonishing diversity of life. The movement of millions of hooves churns the earth, dispersing seeds and nurturing the next generation of plants. The significance of this journey extends far beyond the African plains. The migration is a keystone ecological process, a phenomenon that sustains not only the migrating herds, but also the countless species that depend on them. Predators such as lions, cheetahs, hyenas, and crocodiles rely on the migration for their survival. The abundance of prey during the migration supports large populations of these carnivores, whose own lives are intricately woven into the fate of the herds, and the drama of predator and prey plays out in a delicate balance, each shaping the other's destiny. The health of the migration is a direct reflection of the health of the entire ecosystem. When the herds thrive, so too do the grasslands, the predators, the scavengers, and the myriad smaller creatures that inhabit this vast wilderness. The success or failure of the migration sends ripples through the food web. When the herds are strong, scavengers like vultures and jackals feast on the remains left by predators, while birds of prey and insects benefit from the abundance of life and death on the plains. The migration is also a living laboratory, offering scientists a rare opportunity to study the dynamics of animal populations, the impact of climate change, and the resilience of natural systems. Every year, new discoveries are made about the ways in which species interact, adapt, and survive in this ever-changing environment. The lessons learned from the migration echo across the globe, informing our understanding of ecological balance, the importance of connectivity between habitats, and the need to protect migratory corridors for countless species. The migration is a living demonstration of interdependence. Wildebeest, zebras and gazelles each play a unique role. Wildebeest graze on the longer grasses, making way for zebras and gazelles to feed on the shorter, more nutritious shoots. This cooperation ensures that the land is used efficiently and that each species finds its niche. The river crossings, among the most dramatic moments of the migration, are crucibles of survival. Here, crocodiles lie in wait, and only the strongest and luckiest survive. These perilous passages are vital, culling the weak and ensuring that only the fittest continue the journey, strengthening the gene pool for future generations. The migration is also a story of renewal. As the herds move, they leave behind fertilized soils and trampled grasses, which quickly regenerate with the coming rains. This cycle of movement and regrowth sustains the productivity of the plains, supporting not only the great herds but also the countless insects, birds, and small mammals that depend on healthy grasslands. The migration is a living thread that connects every creature in the ecosystem. From the smallest dung beetle to the mightiest lion, each species is linked by the flow of life across the plains. The survival of one depends on the survival of all, and the loss of the migration would unravel the delicate balance that has evolved over millennia. Ultimately, the story of the Great Migration is a story of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring power of life. It is a reminder that nature's wonders are not static. They are dynamic, ever-changing, and deeply interconnected. The migration teaches us that every creature, from the vulnerable calf to the cunning predator, has a role to play in the grand tapestry of life. Life and death are entwined in a perpetual cycle, and the health of the land is inseparable from the health of its inhabitants. The migration is a breathtaking, moving, and inspiring phenomenon, a living drama that unfolds with every sunrise and sunset, capturing the imagination and stirring the soul. As long as the rains fall and the grasses grow, the great herds will continue their timeless journey, a powerful reminder of the wonder, resilience, and fragility of our natural world. The Great Migration is not just Africa's heritage, but a treasure for all life on Earth, a living symbol of the interconnectedness that sustains us all. While the thunder of hooves and the drama of predator and prey command the spotlight, a quieter migration unfolds beneath the grasses and within the soil, a hidden army of insects tirelessly at work. These tiny creatures, often overlooked, are the silent engineers of the Serengeti Mara ecosystem, their roles as vital as those of the great herds above. As the wildebeest, zebras and gazelles move across the plains, they leave behind more than footprints. Their droppings become instant banquets for dung beetles, which descend in swarms. With remarkable speed, these beetles roll, bury, and consume vast quantities of dung, recycling nutrients back into the soil. This process not only fertilizes the land, promoting the rapid regrowth of grasses, but also helps to control parasites and disease, keeping the ecosystem healthy for all. The migration also stirs clouds of grasshoppers and locusts which follow the advancing herds. Feeding on the fresh shoots exposed by grazing, these insects become a vital food source for birds, reptiles, and small mammals. In turn, their presence supports a complex food web, linking the fate of countless species to the ebb and flow of the migration. Ants, too, play a crucial role. Army ants and driver ants follow the herds, hunting for larvae, eggs, and even the remains of fallen animals. Their relentless foraging helps break down organic matter and aerate the soil, fostering the conditions needed for new plant growth. Termites, quietly working beneath the surface, build vast underground colonies that decompose dead grasses and wood, further enriching the earth. As the rains arrive and the herds move on, butterflies and bees emerge in abundance, drawn by the explosion of wildflowers that follow in the wake of the migration. These pollinators ensure the continued diversity of plant life across the plains, connecting the cycles of migration to the renewal of the land itself. Even in death, the great herds give life. Swarms of carrion beetles and flesh flies descend upon the remains left by predators, and the river crossings. Their rapid consumption of carcasses prevents the spread of disease and recycles nutrients, closing the loop of life and death. Through every stage of the migration, insects are the invisible threads that bind the ecosystem together. Their journeys may be measured in meters rather than miles, but their collective impact is immense, sustaining the grasslands, supporting countless species, and ensuring the resilience of the Serengeti Mara for generations to come. So while the spectacle of the migration unfolds above, remember the world beneath our feet, a world of endless activity where the smallest creatures play the largest roles in shaping the fate of the land. As darkness settles over the endless plains, the Serengeti Mara is transformed. The thundering herds grow quiet, bedding down in loose clusters, and the familiar colors of the savanna fade into silver and shadow. But for many, the day's end marks only the beginning. Night is the realm of the unseen, where survival hinges on heightened senses and ancient instincts. Across the grasslands, a new cast of characters emerges, each uniquely adapted to the challenges of the darkness. A pair of eyes glint in the moonlight, the African lion, apex predator of the night. While the herds rest, lions come alive, using the cover of darkness to stalk unsuspecting prey. Their vision, 6 times more sensitive to light than a human's, guides them through the gloom. Silent, coordinated, and patient, they move with purpose, relying on teamwork and the element of surprise. Nearby, a solitary leopard slips through the undergrowth. Masters of stealth, leopards avoid open confrontations, preferring the shadows. With unmatched climbing skills and a powerful bite, they target the vulnerable. Calves strayed from their mothers or small antelope sheltering in thickets. Each hunt is a calculated risk, every meal a prize hard won. But not all nocturnal hunters are large. The African civet and the bat-eared fox roam the night, feasting on insects stirred up by the migration. Their keen sense of smell and acute hearing help them locate beetles, termites, and even small rodents. Owls, silent in flight, sweep low over the grass, their round faces funneling the faintest rustle toward razor-sharp talons. The darkness is not only for the hunters. For prey animals, survival depends on vigilance and subtlety. Wildebeest and zebras take turns sleeping, ever alert to danger. Their ears twitch at the slightest sound, and a single alarm snort can send a whole herd thundering into motion. Some, like the spring hare, rely on speed and zigzag leaps to evade capture. Others, like the bush baby, retreat to the safety of the trees, their huge eyes reflecting the starlight. Even the smallest creatures have their strategies. Moths, drawn to pale flowers, pollinate under the moon's glow. Nocturnal dung beetles navigate by the Milky Way, rolling their precious cargo with astonishing accuracy. As dawn approaches, the balance shifts once more. The hunters retreat, bellies full or empty, and the herds rise to begin another day's journey. The secrets of the night linger in the dew, written in paw prints and scattered feathers. In the world of the Great Migration, survival is a 24-hour challenge. While daylight brings drama and spectacle, the night belongs to those who have mastered the art of shadows, proving that even in darkness, life on the plains never truly sleeps. As the sun rises over the endless plains, another migration unfolds, this one on wings. Above the churning mass of hooves and horns, flocks of birds ride the thermals, their sharp eyes scanning the movement below. The skies and grasslands of the Serengeti Mara are alive with avian life, each species intricately linked to the journey of the great herds. Stately crowned cranes pick their way through the tall grasses, their golden crests glowing in the morning light. With delicate precision they pluck insects disturbed by the stampede. Grasshoppers, beetles, and caterpillars unearthed by thousands of hooves. In their wake, cattle egrets stride boldly, weaving between wildebeest legs. These opportunists snap up every morsel flushed from hiding, from small frogs to fleeing locusts. The migration is a feast, and the birds are quick to seize their share. High above, the white-backed vulture soars in wide circles, ever watchful for signs of a fresh kill. When predators strike, these scavengers descend in a flurry of wings. Their powerful beaks and acidic stomachs make short work of even the toughest hide and bone, returning vital nutrients to the soil and keeping the plains clean. Alongside them, marabou storks, towering and unyielding, join the fray, their bald heads a badge of their grisly profession. Not all birds are drawn by the promise of a meal. The lilac-breasted roller, a jewel-toned acrobat, uses the chaos of the migration to hunt insects on the wing, diving and twisting with dazzling agility. Flocks of quellias, sometimes in numbers so vast they darken the sky, follow the herds to feast on seeds left behind by grazing animals. Their synchronized movements create living clouds, a spectacle as breathtaking as the migration itself. Even the smallest birds play their part. The oxpecker perches atop buffalo and antelope, plucking ticks and parasites from their hides. Their sharp calls warn of approaching danger, forging an alliance between species. At the waterholes, sandpipers and plovers dart along the muddy edges, feasting on aquatic insects stirred up by thirsty herds. Every feathered traveller has a role in this intricate web. Some clean, some scavenge, some hunt, and others simply follow the bounty that the migration brings. Together, they form an aerial army, silent, vigilant, and essential. The Great Migration is not just a story of hooves and horns, but of wings and song, each life connected in an endless cycle of movement and renewal. As the herds press onward, the birds follow, their fates intertwined with the rhythm of the plains. In the dance of migration, it is the wings above that complete the picture, reminding us that in nature, every journey is shared. Beneath the surface of the Mara and Grumeti rivers, another world awaits, one rarely seen, but profoundly shaped by the Great Migration. As thousands of hooves pound the riverbanks and herds plunge into the churning waters, the river ecosystem comes alive in a surge of activity and change. Here, the drama of the migration extends below the waterline. The arrival of vast herds stirs up silt and sediment, clouding the river in a swirling haze. For the African catfish and tilapia, this is a signal. Nutrients from the land are swept into the current, feeding blooms of plankton and algae. The fish gather in schools, feeding on this seasonal bounty. Some, like the agile tigerfish, wait in the shadows, ready to strike at smaller prey caught unaware by the sudden rush. Along the muddy banks, amphibians emerge from their burrows. African bullfrogs and river-dwelling toads take advantage of the disturbed soil and increased moisture, calling out in the evening for mates. Their tadpoles thrive in the shallow pools left behind by trampling hooves, growing quickly before the waters recede. With each crossing, the migration renews these temporary wetlands, ensuring the next generation of amphibians has a place to grow. Aquatic plants, too, feel the pulse of the migration. Papyrus reeds bend and sway as thirsty animals gather at the edges, their roots filtering the water and offering shelter to countless small creatures. Underwater, swaying beds of waterweed provide nurseries for fish fry, while tiny snails and insect larvae cling to their stems. As the herds drink and cross, they transport seeds and spores on their bodies, helping these plants colonize new stretches of the river. Yet the migration is not without peril for river life. The sudden influx of hooves can churn up eggs laid in the shallows, and the silt can smother delicate gills. But nature is resilient. As the herds move on, the river settles and life returns in abundance. Frogs chorus at dusk, fish leap for insects, and the water clears to reveal a tapestry of greens and silvers once more. The river ecosystem is both stage and participant in the story of the migration. Fish, amphibians, and plants each play their part, feeding, sheltering, and cycling nutrients that sustain the entire Serengeti Mara. In the eternal movement of water and life, the migration is more than a crossing. It is a pulse that echoes through every current, every reed, and every scale. As the sun sets and the herds fade into the distance, the river flows on, quietly shaping and being shaped by the greatest journey on earth. Beneath the thundering hooves and the waving grasses, a hidden world pulses with life, one that is vital to the great migration's very existence, yet invisible to the naked eye. Here, in a universe measured in microns, billions of microbes and soil organisms form the foundation of the Serengeti Mara ecosystem. As the herds move, they trample and fertilize the earth, leaving behind more than footprints. Their dung and urine are rich deposits, rapidly colonized by bacteria and fungi. These microscopic decomposers break down complex organic matter, releasing essential nutrients back into the soil. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, elements critical for plant growth, are freed, fueling the grasses that feed the herds in their never-ending journey. The process is swift and efficient. Dung beetles, tiny engineers of the soil, bury droppings underground, creating microhabitats for bacteria and fungi to thrive. Earthworms tunnel through the dirt, aerating the ground and mixing organic and mineral layers. Their movement helps water penetrate deep into the earth, supporting the lush growth that carpets the plains after the rains. But the story grows smaller still. Mycorrhizal fungi, invisible threads woven through the soil, connect plant roots in a vast underground web. These symbiotic partners trade nutrients for sugars, helping grasses draw water from deep reserves and survive drought. In return, the fungi receive vital energy, a partnership millions of years in the making. As the migration sweeps across the plains, it is this living soil that ensures the grasses return each year, lush and abundant. Microbes break down the remains of plants trampled by the herds, recycling every stem and leaf. Protozoa and nematodes graze on bacteria, keeping populations in balance and releasing nutrients in forms that plants can absorb. Even after the herds have moved on, the soil teems with activity. Spores and seeds, carried in hooves and fur, find fertile ground in the nutrient-rich earth. Here life begins anew, each blade of grass, each wildflower, a testament to the invisible engine below. Without this hidden world, the migration would falter. The grasses would thin, the herds would dwindle, and the entire ecosystem would lose its heartbeat. Yet, thanks to the tireless work of microbes and soil organisms, the cycle continues, quiet, unheralded, and essential. In the Serengeti Mara, every journey begins and ends in the soil. It is here, in darkness and silence, that the true foundation of the Great Migration is found.